When I went to church, it was, fire and brimstone. God's just sitting up in heaven. Don't you sin. Don't you do it.
We used to have this image of God as the white guy with the beard, with the notepad, writing down every bad thing that you've done, right?
My relationship to God was like God is an authority figure. He's watching, right? And you don't want to get busted, right? I would get in trouble as a kid. I got caught stealing one time, some little stuff from the supermarket with a couple of my friends, some candy or something. I remember going to the church, when I got home and I'm in trouble because the supermarket called my parents because they know who my parents, my grandma, she comes and picks me up. She takes me to church. She goes and knocks on the rectory door. I'm thinking, man, I just stole something. That's one of the 10 commandments. I'm going to hell.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I think that's probably where some of my shame comes from too. Better not sin. God's going to punish you.
For the majority of my life, I would only go to God when I needed something. I would always talk to God. God, do this for me, do that for me. Please take care of this.
I always wanted to have some connection or to feel like we weren't all sitting here in these pews freaking pretending to believe something that none of us is really feeling.
So I went through a lot of trials in life, and I think I blame God for not being my protector that I thought God should be, not understanding that God didn't do it, people do what they do. Yeah, it was a long period of time when I felt God wasn't there, not to say, no, I ain't gonna say he wasn't there, it's just when I felt like I turned my back on it. Just a lot of turmoil, between being a gang member, doing drugs, my mom being in prison, watching my dad decline, doing drugs, me being molested, family all over the place, nobody wanting us, just stuff like that. So I felt like after a bundle of all that, I don't even want to think about God, I don't want to think about family, I don't want to think about people or nothing. It's just the way I want to move forward in life, just not caring about nothing, and not caring about nothing, I didn't care about myself. So, I don't know, so if I didn't love myself, I didn't love nothing, who are you for me to love? So I was very violent, very angry person during the time when I thought God wasn't there.
I remember I was sitting in prison, I was crying, I felt so alone, I felt abandoned. And I was so angry and ready to revert back to the same place I had come from. I was contemplating suicide. I was contemplating killing myself. And I had to do an analysis of who I was, who I thought I was, what I thought I was. And I went over this whole thing in my life, growing up, having children. I was thinking about my children. I was thinking about my family. I was thinking mainly about my failures. And I was allowing the outside to filter in. And I was thinking about my son and my daughter and what they would think of me, number one, already being a felon. And I got to the point where I thought that maybe the memory of me would be greater than the reality of me. And that place felt so dark, so heavy, it felt like I couldn't even get out of bed. You know, and that's when it like hit me. You gotta return to your practice. You gotta stay in that cycle. Because I left from one environment where the practice was active, was powerful. I had other people surrounding me, encouraging me. But now I'm in an environment where it's just me. And then you get to find out who you are and what you're made of. So I returned back to my silence. I picked it back up. And the beautiful thing about God is you can always come home.
There's something different with centering prayer that helped open my eyes to a God of love and concern and compassion that I didn't really find anywhere else. You feel it. You know it's there. It's not something that you have to guess about. You know.
Meditation, in the sense of being a type of prayer, was interesting to me, because like I would be able to speak well, but when we're sitting in a group and somebody's like, okay, Paul, lead us in prayer. If I'm like being honest with the prayer, what I got to say is it's probably not going to be cool for whatever the group is that you want me to lead us into prayer for. So I just wasn't good at prayer using words. So the concept of not having to say like, oh God, thank you for this, everything great about my life and everything that's not so great is my fault. I don't know. What do you say in a prayer like that? That was always my dilemma.
For me, it's not just a religious thing, because, you know, it's like my relationship with God is just a little bit different, because I find God talks to me in my own language and understands me as myself. So a lot of my language with God is might even be profanity. I talk to God just like, God, what the fuck is going on? You know, like that.
God already knows what's in my heart. He sees everything, you know. And like for example, for the majority of my life, I know why now I could never focus on my own life. My life was consumed with anxiety, depression, and just straight bitterness. I know why I could never see the beauty in my life, because I always had negative thoughts in my head, and throughout my day, I'm never focused. When I'm still with God, when I allow these things or God to work within me, and I learn how to work my emotions, I'm at a calmer place and a more peaceful pace where it gives me a space to be able to appreciate my life, to be able to see the things that God has blessed for me in my life.
It helped me focus a lot too. It helped me focus. It helped bring a lot of good people in my life, clear my mind, and then realize what I needed in life. You know, I think a lot of things did come to me in centering prayer for me to be able to move forward in life. You know, to get me through. Just things that I need to work on in myself.
With centering prayer, I get to have an open relationship with God, and he's not pointing his finger at me, he's holding his hand wanting me to come in. It's helped me grow and mature, not just in my relationship with God, but in my relationship in free society.
Well, God is just more of a loving father that just wants to, what's happening with you? How can I help you? What can make your life more joyful? You know, so if you're experiencing joy, then God experiences joy. God wants to experience joy just like you do. God heals my life.
Even if you don't believe in God, you should give it a try. If you want to release toxic shame in your life and feel better about yourself and be transformed into the person that you were meant to be, give it a shot. You have nothing to lose, that's for sure.